Now, when the fire consumes one of the region's busiest market hubs, the cost is counted in smoke, tears, and also livelihoods lost. Balogun Market has once again been ravaged by flames. The central question is clear. What exactly went wrong, and the lessons finally, well, are they finally being learned? Well, I'm not too sure.
So what our correspondent did was they went into the heart of the blaze zone, and from traders who lost everything to officials tasked with disaster response, they found both heartbreaking and hard questions about preparedness and prevention. And here's a special report from our correspondent Victor Mbadike, who was live at the scene. Take a look.
It's a bleak Christmas for traders on Martin Street, Lagos Island. Victims continue to count their losses after this building, the great Nigeria Insurance House, was gutted by fire on Wednesday evening, significantly damaging at least 6 other buildings.
I said jewelries and handbags. Yes. And I lost almost like 10 million. Yes, 10 million. If I calculate it. My shop is 2 million. Look at it. This is my shop. This is my shop. Where did I want to start from? I don't understand you.
What happened is that the Lagos government is very, very unfair. They don't know what they're doing. It started very, very low. At a time, it's escalated. And we are looking at it as something that we stopped. But nothing is done. Even the firefighters, they don't know what they're doing.
The way the goods were being arranged, the firemen couldn't go inside the building to fight fire as they want to do. So that is one constraint itself.
While some traders managed to salvage part of their goods, others said they lost everything within minutes.
I'm just coming. At least others bring their things out and not bring a pin out. It's unfortunate. Am I unfortunate woman? This is a black Christmas for me. Will I die? Can I die? I have children and grandchildren. Oh, my grandchildren, I'm the one taking care of them. I'm a single mom. I'm a single mom. Oh.
This incident once again raises important questions about why fire outbreaks continue to occur, especially during the ember months, and what preventive measures are still lacking.
We usually warn that from December, people need to be a bit more cautious, people need to be a bit more alive, and people need to be a bit more responsive and responsible. The real causes of this one officially, we cannot say is this, but from preliminary reports, it's still all around carelessness and people not adhering to strict safety and fire precautions.
Firefighters who were still battling the flames as at the time this report was filed appealed to the crowd to give officials space to work.
The people around here were not helping. You know the Lagos peculiarity, Lagos Island market peculiarity, where the structure are bomber to bomber, and not only that, the people were carrying their goods from one place to another. The vehicle couldn't move. The vehicle who want to bring water couldn't enter.
With one of the city's busiest textile hubs now in ruins, the economic impact will be felt beyond Martin Street. How quickly the market recovers could determine how many livelihoods are saved. In Lagos for News Central, Victor Mbadike.
And Victor joins us live here in the studio for more updates and just on site and just give us a bit of insight on what he saw. Victor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
It's a very good morning to you, and I would say Merry Christmas, but it's not so merry from what we've seen there in that visual. So let me start exactly with what we know so far about the cause of the fire. We know that goods and livelihoods have been lost, but what started the fire?
Well, thank you guys, and thank you guys all for having me. It's a good morning to me, but it's not
yeah.
not good morning for many others at that particular event. The truth is, nobody can actually say this is what caused the fire. Not even the officials have given us official reports to that. But of course, with eyewitnesses, some of them said this was a generating set that somebody turned on generator at that time. So the incident happened sometime around between 4 and 5 in the evening on Wednesday. So it was quite early days. You know, you saw that woman crying. That woman said to me that when the fire started at that time, it wasn't serious. So she didn't really, in fact, she was about lucky. She locked her shop at that time to attend to her children or grandchildren at home. So she just felt the guys around would deal with it. It wasn't up to 30 minutes. It has spiraled. So she got a call and she had to return. By the time she came,
it was serious.
It was all gone. You also listened to the guy who said the firefighters didn't know what they were doing. The truth is, yeah, he said that it started on a very low, you know, nobody knew. But by the time the firefighters came, either they were out of water or they, you know, undirected the extent of how that fire would go, and they only came with just about a truck. So when they came with the truck and they couldn't continue, you know, the water got exhausted. By the time they would go back to get more, you know, firepower, the fire had, you know, spread out to other buildings. I know the way Lagos Island is structured, just like you had the director sort of Lagos, that it's bumper to bumper. So you could even extend the handshake to the next other and you know, that's one of the major problems. The electrical faults. Of course, most of these infamous buildings don't have safety infrastructures like fire extinguishers and all of that. So if we had all of those things in place, maybe, just maybe, they could have, you know, salvaged the situation before it spiraled. Again, look at the crowd. Yes, it was cordoned off, but the crowd would even allow passage for the firefighters. So as the time that the authorities are using to fight these guys, the fire is burning.
But also, let's look at, because I was having this conversation with families, right? And like the GNI house is a house that we know too well. It's bearing. If you're driving all the way from Apapa, you can actually see the building. You can see the smoke coming out. But what's interesting is that the generator for that house is on, I think, the 5th floor of that house, right? And so if the generator had gone off and had blown, you know that means that it shares a wall with others. You know, with others. And also it is close to a warehouse, mostly the house, textile, and all of that. And so the fire extinguishers or whatever, the fire trucks that are coming in, how many liters do they have? How long is their ladder? How many manpower are they bringing? I mean, it's not about access, but it's more about the tools that can help them will their pipes or their hose all the way there, and how many liters of water they do, and whether or not they're equipped to put out a fire as in a building as large as that. And also, one has to look at the knee-jerk reaction in terms of how quick you are, because you keep saying that they thought it was small. So that means it's a commonplace that fire happens.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like, it's common. And I saw the fire, I was going home. People were standing there. I've seen TikTok videos when the fire started. People were looking at, great Nigeria. You see them standing and watching the fire as it started. You know, so the truth is, we've seen incidences where locals, witnesses, you know, take initiatives. Right. Instead of waiting for authorities or officials to come. So pending the time the officials come, they would have, you know, curtailed it to a large extent. But this particular building would be really difficult because it's about 20 to 24. It's that high.
So before Judith asked, that was exactly what...
How easy would it be?
What exactly was the structural situation? How easy is it to get 25 stories? Yeah. What exactly is inside the GNI building? Great Nigerian. Because you're talking about a unit generator. And I don't think it's about a unit generator, because this house is traders and it's a warehouse.
The building itself is not just a warehouse for clothing and textiles.
There's also offices.
There are also corporate offices there. In fact, there are also shops there where people sell. And you know, it's clothing. Fire can easily spread, you know.
They're all flammable.
Exactly. So I wouldn't want to speak for the people who tried to do what they could, but it's not going to be that easy for anybody to put out a fire that is already spreading from one floor, second floor, third floor.
Then
how much can you do?
Could the fire service have done that? What kind of equipment did they bring?
Well,
Judith was asking how long is their ladder. Did they bring a ladder?
How many meters are there?
I know, I have not seen this happen, but in foreign countries, you'd have the exact kind of equipment. The hose would go up the ladder with the it's a ladder. It's a crane.
Absolutely. Here's the thing.
So did any of that?
I did not categorically see any, but what I also noticed was that the hose was long enough to get to whatever
Yeah,
floor.
but Mbadike, it was being carried man-held.
Well, but that's the situation.
So while they're talking about, oh, access, it was bad and they didn't let us in as the authorities now, were they even prepared? Let's focus on our Nigerian authorities.
They could have their own excuses.
Because if you have to labor through carrying these hoses through the labyrinth, through a 25-story building, you can only imagine the amount of challenges that you're going to get, as against if you had a crane, lift it up, and let's get water in those floors.
Well, Mazino, we will get there, but the truth is,
we will get there. And I'm not, you're not the authorities, I'm sorry, but we're discussing
this. In 2024, there was an entire street of like that because of one fire. They had to pull down all the structures. That would have been, in my humble opinion, this is just a commentary, they would have been, in my humble opinion, one that would make Lagos State and that CBD, the Central Business District, sit up to say, this fire station that we have here, we will make sure that we have state-of-the-art equipment. And because this CBD have cost us too much money in terms of rebuilding and paying those traders. That should have been a cautionary tale in terms of preparedness. That's one. And then two, because every building that's around that structure now is compromised, right? And then two, what could have happened and should have happened was that immediately after that fire that happened in 2024, in the first quarter, I think second quarter of 2024, what they should have done was to make sure that there is a monthly and quarterly check in terms of fire preparedness across every building, floor, and traders, in my humble opinion. But away from that, I have to ask you about so far the recovery. Do we know in terms of casualties? Do we know in terms of, what are we looking at in terms of casualties?
Well, from what I gathered, I don't know if anything has changed now. I do understand that Israel was also there yesterday. We do not have any figure in terms of casualty, lives lost. No, none of such. But in terms of what has been lost, yes, there were many casualties in terms of goods lost. I mean, you can't quantify. A lot of them were supposed to travel for the Christmas break. While some were on the express traveling, they got a call that their shops are on fire.
And they turned back.
Devastating.
Well, I wouldn't know if they turned back, but maybe they'll just accept their fate. While some were actually getting prepared to travel by weekend, this happened. So that, of course, have hampered their mood. So it's all just for them to start all over again and see what they can to. So you saw some of them retrieving what they can. The lucky ones, basically, they wouldn't wait. They wouldn't want to wait for the fire to spread to their shops. They had to quickly take, their stuff out of that place completely. While some were really unlucky to pick out a pin, and that's a lot of money lost. You saw that woman said she's lost about over 10 million naira. Yeah. The man who spoke earlier says he's lost about 20 million naira. So it's a lot of money lost.
It would be big. I really wish we had more time to have you over and stay and talk about community and what they are doing as a community themselves, the traders, to make sure that these kinds of occurrences don't happen, because it doesn't seem like they're taking any of the lessons from the previous fire instances at all. Because if you don't have fire extinguishers in your community, your entire community, or you don't have somebody who goes about and checks every single week, then what lessons are you learning even as traders?
And don't forget that the Harmattan, this period, dry, humidity, and all that can easily spread fire, no matter how little it is. Not in a place like Lagos Island where everything is bumper to bumper, like the director said.
So for me, while we're talking about the authorities and saying you didn't do this, you didn't do that, I'm like, what about you, the traders?
Exactly.
What have you done?
Absolutely.
Well, Mbadike, thank you very much for all.
Thank you, guys.
And,
thanks, Judith.
Great reporting. We hope that we'd see either one from you or Israel before the end of the weekend.
Absolutely.
And we also hope that the traders are also perhaps maybe finding succor somehow. Well, we hope at this point is when we talk about insurance. And it's a big deal. Not very many people believe in insurance, but that would help with a lot.